Hello, 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 hello! Welcome to yet another installment of this weekly conundrum that we call The New Dad Rock!
Ooh, I like this new Steve.
I'm so excited for this week's episode.
What are we going to talk about?
Remember a couple weeks ago when you asked me about bands that should be way bigger than they are?
Yeah. I think we were talking about Greg Dooley and like the Afghan Wigs.
Like the Afghan Wigs should have been huge. But what did we say, though, at the end of that episode? We were like, there was another band we were talking about.
Ween. Are we doing an episode about Ween?
Yes, we're doing an episode about Ween. I remember it now. I said Ween is bigger and better than and more fun than Fish.
Okay. All right. I'm excited too.
So, dear listeners, you are in for a treat. Ween. They're like if It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia was a band. They're surprisingly proficient, wildly entertaining, often offensive. Either you know Ween and are so excited that you're thinking about them for the next 20 minutes, or you don't know anything about them and you're about to get some truth dropped on you.
Or for whatever reason, you were watching Beavis and Butthead in the 90s and you were like, what's up with these freaks?
That's right. They had the Push the Little Daisies was on Beavis and Butthead. It's a great song, really nice sentiment.
Yeah, but with the pitch-adjusted vocals, so they sound like they're on helium.
Still, it's a great song. If you were to like take out all the effects, strip it down, sing it by yourself on an acoustic guitar, it would still be a beautiful song that's better than any song on that new Taylor Swift National album.
All right, let's do it. Push the little daisies and make them come up.
You got to strip that out, man.
Okay, all right. You're probably right.
Sometimes you think that I'm a loser.
You're probably right. Ween's probably awesome, but they have a song called Poop Ship Destroyer, and it's hard to take them seriously.
Yeah, here we are. So who are Ween?
They're brothers, Gene and Dean Ween. Gene sings most of the songs and often plays guitar, while Dean plays guitar all the time and sings a few of the songs. Dean Ween is probably one of the most amazing guitarists alive right now.
So they're not actually brothers, and they're not actually named Gene or Dean.
Okay, come on, dude.
They're actually Aaron and Mickey, and they met in middle school in New Hope, Pennsylvania.
Okay, I know where that is. That's north of Philly in Bucks County. Which
I think makes sense that they're kind of like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia in band form. Yeah, so like a lot of it's crazy. These guys, they're only a couple years older than us.
Oh, that's amazing.
They met in middle school, back when we were kids. Thinking about it, video games were not that good yet. I mean, we had Atari, but Nintendo was still a couple years away. There was no internet. Not even everyone had cable TV. So what a lot of kids did was they sat around and made up fake bands and recorded whatever they had. So, I mean, that's what I did when I was 12 or 13.
Yeah, and these are people 3 to 4 years older than us in Philadelphia and outside of Philly.
Yeah, I mean, back then I had a band with some of my friends. I mean, it's a band in quotes. None of us actually played an instrument. We just made noise with what was ever around.
What was the name of this band?
We were called Butchered Rodents.
Oh my God. Please tell me you have some recordings.
There are tapes in existence.
You're going to look for them. You're going to look for them. You're going to look for them.
I think I may have one or two. Ooh. But I mean, it's like the automatic effects on the Casio keyboard. We did make this one awesome song called Red Hot Snow.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, so Matt Hanrahan, John Cyberling, Mike Hansen, wherever you are, if we would have just stuck together, some other assholes could be doing a podcast about the Butchered Rodents right now.
All right. But this time we're going to talk about Ween. And so I came across Ween probably through you when we were around the time we were doing the College Station show, so early 90s, and it was the Push the Little Daisy song, which was their best-selling song of all time, apparently, or best charting song of all time.
That's interesting, because I feel like Voodoo Lady might have gone other places. Anyway.
No, I prepped for this show. I read Wikipedia.
Yeah, I believe you.
I was totally flabbergasted as well, that how could that song of all the songs? I love Voodoo Lady. In fact, I saw them prep in the winter of 93 for their Voodoo Lady tour, the Chocolate and Cheese tour. And they did it at the Horizontal Boogie Bar in Rochester. And it was like their 2 prep shows. And they refused to play Voodoo Lady because they knew they were going to have to play it every other night on the tour.
Well, that's funny because they are an amazing live band. They do 3-hour sets, 30 plus songs a night. They'll play 3 nights in a row in the same city and not even repeat one song.
Yeah.
So they'll play like upwards of 90 songs over a 3-night set. They are total chameleons. They'll play country. They'll play things that border on heavy metal. They'll play like stuff that you would hear at a gay dance club, like totally electronica. They have a song "Your Party" with a sweet David Sanborn sax solo on it, and everywhere in between.
That's actually what they want the cover of Chocolate and Cheese to be. Instead of, they used a girl with the Bugnesh symbol. Bugnesh is their devil god or something. They're the symbol for the band, and it was on a belt, like a WWF belt, like a wrestling championship belt. But originally they wanted it to be a gay or a guy coming out of a gay bar. I swear to God.
A gay guy instead of a busty girl.
Yeah, totally. That was the label. The label did other stuff. You know, they have a new album out in 2018 called Banana and Blow.
Yeah, it's a quote unquote greatest hits compilation. I don't even know how you begin to assemble a greatest hits. I don't even know how you could find something representative, because all of their songs sound so different and truly Ween at the same time. But you couldn't boil this down to 12 songs, just like Ween has to play 30 songs a night for 3 hours.
Totally.
Just because there's so many great songs.
No. The members of the band didn't know this album was coming out until it already came out. Like, they had nothing to do with it. Isn't that horrible?
Yeah.
That's when you sell your catalog, dude.
Well, they were on Elektra Records for a big chunk of their career. They were on a major label. Mm-hmm. So I lamented a couple weeks ago saying, hey, only the Flaming Lips are like on a major label. But Ween was on a major label for a very long time. They also did a live album around in the late 90s called Painting the Town Brown, which was a similar situation. The label put it together. They didn't really have much input on the song selection or anything. But, I mean, let's talk about the music, the Oneness.
Yeah. What was going on with like their first albums? Like, they put out like 5 or 6 tapes, right, for their friends, and then it became an album?
Well, back to the Butchered Rodents, I think we had 5 albums, and they were cassettes that we dubbed a few copies of and handed out to our friends. And I think that's what Ween did as well.
You had 5
they
albums?
Have 4. We did. And they had 4 or 5, and I think if you look at their ages when they put that together, because their first album, God, Ween, Satan, and Oneness, came out, they were 19 or 20 years old. And they had already had those 5 before that. So that was the same as Butchered Rodents, hanging out with your friends, making a tape of crazy stuff. And, I mean, these guys are the most talented songwriting duo since Lennon and McCartney or Jagger and Richards.
So who was the rhythm section for some of the live shows they did in 89, 90? From what other band?
Well, when they first started off, they would just get like a drum tech, didn't they?
Yeah.
Didn't they have like a DAT machine basically playing the track in the background?
Oh, totally. That was the first, And then when they finally got a bassist and a drummer, from what other famous band were they from?
Oh, Rollins Band.
Isn't that
Andrew
crazy?
Weiss.
Yeah.
But
they also...
Well, I actually met Andrew Weiss and Dave Drewitz.
What?
So Sung and I went to BB King's Lounge on 42nd Street in Manhattan. George Clinton and P-Funk were playing, and I think Sung might have had free tickets from work or something.
Sure.
So we went there, and we're walking around, we're hanging out, and I walk by these 2 guys, and Dave Drewitz is the bassist of Ween, so I've seen him on stage a ton of times, and Andrew Weiss has been at some shows, and he's got a noticeable hairstyle. And I just walked by these 2 guys, and I point at them, and I'm like, I know you. And then I think went to the bathroom, and I came back, and I was like, all right, sorry to bother you. Huge fans. Quick question. The cover of The Pod, which, if you know the cover of The Pod, their second album, it's essentially Leonard Cohen's greatest hits.
Yeah.
And
good question.
And the guy had a Scotch Guard infused bong on his face or something. So it's the exact same thing, and I'm like, whose idea was that? Because it was just genius, and they both looked, and they're like, yeah, I think that was Aaron. That was Aaron, who is Dean Ween, the singer.
Aaron Freeman? Wow, that's amazing.
I was. It was the first time I've seen famous people. I worked in 30 Rockefeller Center for a year, so I've seen famous people on the regular. This is the only, and guys from Ween are not really famous people, but I was so proud of myself for actually thinking of it. I actually have a legitimate question to ask you guys, rather than be like, hey, dar, 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 dar.
I remember when Ween was fun for our crew. But, like, there's so many things that came out after Chocolate and Cheese. The 12 country classics.
Well, yeah, so, I mean, they started out as bedroom recorders, a la the Butchered Rodents, which I'm going to keep hitting up. Butchered Rodents are going to be trending.
I love it.
And so that's God, Ween, Satan, the Oneness, the Pod. Even Pure Guava only has a few songs with the backing band. And Pure Guava is the one on a major label that has pushed the Little Daisies.
It sounds great. I listened to it today. It was awesome.
The first 8 songs of that album, so many great songs on that section. Yeah, so you get to Chocolate and Cheese, and Chocolate and Cheese,
nailed it.
We keep mentioning, it came out in 94, so we've mentioned on the show a lot about how great 93 was. 94 came out right after that. There's Chocolate and Cheese, and this, I make fun of Keith for his Desert Island discs, because obviously if you're stranded on Desert Island, you aren't going to be able to be playing music. But the point is, I mean, Chocolate and Cheese is definitely on my list. It might be my favorite album ever. I mean, it's probably Peace of Mind by Iron Maiden, but it's right there.
Wow. That's
when
high.
My kids were,
that's high.
When my kids were babies, I would sing them what Diener was talking about as a lullaby.
Yeah. Well, luckily that didn't affect them too badly.
Well, they seem mostly well adjusted.
I agree. That's your wife.
Also on that album is Roses Are Free, which Fish plays a ton of times. And, dude, I mentioned I saw Fish in December this past year for the first time in 20 plus years. And they played Roses Are Free in the encore.
Are you serious? That's awesome.
It was insane. And the thing was, the guy that I went with, I had been telling him about Ween for the last couple months. And I'm like, you got to check out Ween. You got to check out Ween. And the encore, the Fish show we're at together. I'm like, this is Ween.
I have a question about the whole Stallion thing. There's Stallion part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 apparently spread out across multiple albums. When they did an all request album, and fans voted all 5 parts to be played. What's the thing about the Stallion? Do you know?
I think it's just an inside joke that got away from them.
That's awesome.
Let me tell you though, the Stallion part 3 is.
That's the one that actually made me come up with this. Yeah. Okay.
That song should be on Bananas and Blow, their quote-unquote greatest hits album.
Is it on
Whether
there?
it is or not, I have no idea. Another one that should be on there is Baby Bitch, which is this really nice, soft, Dylanesque. In fact, it's kind of they kind of lifted the ideas and theme of the song Sarah by Bob Dylan, even right down to there's a line in Sarah's talking about how he was so desperate and he wrote Sad-Eyed Lady of the Lowlands for you. In Ween's version, they're like, got fat, got angry, started hating myself, wrote Birthday Boy for you, babe. And Birthday Boy is this song on the first album, God, Ween, Satan, the Oneness, which if you listen to it, is just drenched in feedback. But it's a beautiful song. Again, if you stripped it out, played it by yourself on an acoustic guitar, it would be the most beautiful thing ever written. And that's what continues to boggle my mind about Ween, is how they've written so many just perfect songs, just great melodies, great pop structures, great rock songs, anthemic, everything you'd want in a band. And somehow they don't get me wrong, they sell pretty good sized clubs all over the country and some parts of the world.
Hey Steve, I'm a huge Weird Al Yankovic fan. And the problem with Ween is they're kind of out there in not that far gone, right? A parody space, but they're sort of known for a little hilarity, a little like Flaming Lips have that same problem too. It's hard to be the super famous popular band when your songs are about mollusks
and getting spinal meningitis
and Bananas and Blow. Apparently, I listened to this song a couple times today. I'm pretty sure they were just eating bananas and doing blow. It's a hard song to interpret.
There were definitely issues with drugs in the band, and I think that had probably to some extent held them back. There's a famous show in Vancouver in 2011 that we don't want to talk too much about, but it basically broke up Ween for the better part of the last 15 years. They haven't put out a new album in 13 years since La Cucaracha. For a while, they weren't even together, and it was, I think, a long way back for Jeaner. He did some solo work, which was not very good, to put it mildly. He actually did a tour. I don't know if you've ever seen Dean Ween, but he looks like Billy Joel. And he can sing anything. He has one of the most versatile voices in music. Cool. He could win one of those like Voice or America's Got Talent shows just based on his voice. And he did a tour, and he did only Billy Joel songs. It was a long, dark road. And the last few years they've been back.
They were talking about how, they love touring, like you said. They could be the biggest stadium band ever. Like, bigger than Fish, I imagine. But, yeah, as far as putting out new music, they're probably not going to do that. That's my feel.
Hopefully they will, but if not, they have 150 just absolutely fantastic songs. Live, they will cover anything from Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, Ohio, to Hot for Teacher, to a series of Prince songs. We mentioned Greg Dooley doing a Prince medley to finish out his show. Ween's one of their more famous songs from the early days, MLLYP. You guys can work that out at home. It's like a 9 to 15 minute jam on stage, and people will just jump up there and start dancing, and it's kind of like a P-Funk show right there. It's just amazing how versatile they are. So one of the crazy things about Ween having the Chameleon Band, they did a full album in 1996. Country was having a popular renaissance back then, and they did a full country album. They went to Nashville, and they got real Nashville country greats. And then I think that's what the reference to the title of the album is, 12 Golden Country Greats. It was the guys they were playing with. I don't think it was the songs.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't the songs. There's only 10 songs on there. But yeah, all they did on that album was sing.
Obviously, they wrote the songs, too.
Well, wait, what would you write the songs? Play a CFG, and then you give it to this band that's super sick, and they're like, I sing this words?
Best writing team since Jagger and Richards.
Oh my God, maybe, right? Except for Bono Edge did okay, right? Bono.
Yeah, I don't think they have as many. I don't think they have half as many songs, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I Drake and whoever he writes his songs with. He's got a lot of songs. It's not a band. I see.
Yeah. Yeah. But on the Golden Country Great Tour, I saw them in New York City at Tramps.
Nice.
Rest in peace. But the night that I saw them was the night that the Yankees won the 96 World Series. Woo! And the Yankees were playing the Atlanta Braves. And everybody in the South, their favorite team is the Braves. So Ween is on tour with these legit country guys. Like, they have a backing band. It's like 6-piece band of like 60-year-old grizzled country vets behind them.
Are they Atlanta Braves fans?
Of course they're Atlanta Braves fans. And the whole band came out wearing Yankees caps, and you could tell the
dejected.
Which is funny because they're Philly fans, so they're no big fans of the Yankees.
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
You had to be a Yankee fan that night, and that '96 team was a good team.
Yeah,
they were easy to root for. I digress. So I have kids, you have kids. I feel like they're not nearly as bored as we were.
Dude, how could they be? We don't let them be.
I mean, I guess they're creative in other ways, always making different videos, and I guess TikTok to some regard is, but it seems like forming a band isn't as popular as it was when we were young.
Dude, there's already a band called Nelson. Dude, we did an episode of Van Halen. I don't know, man. You want Jasper and Milo to form a band called Nonson?
With today's technology, I mean, they could be up on SoundCloud next week.
Dude, I can put them up on SoundCloud right now.
Aren't they up camping right now? It'll be like a total Bon Iver vibe.
No, I already have some shit we did before. We could totally put it out. It won't be good. There's no video for it yet, but like we could totally put it out right now.
Yeah, maybe you should hold off.
Well, for Ween, they stuck with it, and now they're legends, man. Kind of like us.
I guess. We just need to do this like another 10 or 15 years, maybe write 150 episodes.
I mean, that's crazy. Yeah, we already did a country episode.
Well, there is that. But seriously, I mean, Ween has something to appeal to everyone. I used to make mixes for the kids in my family, my extended family, like the younger cousins, and it was called Clean Ween.
Oh, wait. You did? Is that like the music they listen to when they clean the house?
No, it was... A lot of Ween's music is offensive and will often have some off-color wordings and phraseology. Yeah, so like it was hard to find,
the kids'
the
version.
15 clean songs, I put it on there.
Yeah.
But I had some unclean mixes for some of Kristen's uncles, and they loved it. To this day, like, where'd the cheese go is a common parlance at family gatherings.
I mean, you married well. That's good. And if there are ever live shows again, you get a chance, check out one of their 3-hour, 30-plus song sets. You won't regret it.
Yeah, and thanks to all who tune in and listen to us. We highlighted a few Ween songs in the episode notes. But like I said, you can't even do it. They play every type of music.
And they have a song to offend about anyone.
Yeah, so we'll be back next week. And until then, what even is this music?